Nass the Pod season. I don't know if it's season 3 or season 4. New NBA season obviously hasn't started yet, but we've had the NBA draft. Free agency's been crazy. Team USA, which is really what today's episode is going to be about. Just unraveling everything Team USA for those of you that have been following. This is actually my first Olympics covering Team USA for Nass the Pod. We got this thing started in 2022. The last Olympics we had was 2020. I believe that was in Tokyo? I think it was in Tokyo. Team USA won gold, and if you go back and look at that roster, I must say before I dive into this 2024 team, that 2020 roster, if you go back and look at the guys on that team, and this is not no slight on any Team USA player. Like, I respect anyone that's participating in Team USA on a national level. Definitely have my respect, but you can definitely tell, there's a significant gap in terms of talent from this year's team to that 2020 team. I think the only clear-cut superstars you would say that were on that 2020 team, I think is only Durant. I mean, Tatum was on his way, Booker, they were on their way, but those guys were still young, still finding their ways in the league. But I think I'd want to say that that was the only, clear-cut superstar. I mean, guys didn't go to Tokyo in 2020, obviously with COVID and everything, the pandemic and everything. So a lot of guys definitely backed out. But if you go and look at that 2020 team in terms of talent, there's a significant gap. So with that being said, because that's really the theme of this episode, is I guess really analyzing how much talent Team USA has, because it's led to something that I've never seen before, and that is a superstar of the caliber of Boston Celtics forward Jayson Tatum can't crack 1 minute in the opening game of the Olympics. This is a guy that was on the 2020 team. I'm pretty sure he was second in scoring to Durant in 2020, got a gold medal. So it was just funny. And Steve Kerr was the coach of that team too. This is the same Team USA infrastructure. It's not like someone took over and now they're trying to kind of realign what players are best for the team going forward. This is a guy that's already accomplished what the main goal is at the Olympics, and that's to win the gold medal. NBA champion. I'm not gonna. Everyone's been basically going bonkers about it. Steve Kerr, who his response for not playing Tatum, he felt like an idiot, and he was trying to go with the lineups that made sense. But it's funny because Jayson Tatum is one of a handful of lineup proof forwards that can play 1 through 4, defend guards, defend forwards. I mean, if you watch the 2024 finals, he was guarding Derek Lively, Gafford on certain possessions. The whole reason why the Luka lob was basically erased from the Mavs offense was because we could switch everything, and he's basically our Swiss Army knife. Don't get me wrong, Drew Holiday, Derek White, those guys are great defenders, but Jayson Tatum, his ability to guard numerous positions is the reason why the Mavs basically had no answer for us. In terms of that, the lob threat, whenever they tried to run that little pick and roll, and Luka's one of the league's premier passers, elite, playmakers, floor racers, and we basically took that from the Mavericks, and Jayson Tatum was pretty much the reason for that. So Jayson Tatum started a couple games during the USA Showcase, and the lineup was Steph, Bron, Tatum, Embiid, and Drew Holiday. So after a couple games, obviously they didn't lose. I mean, the closest game USA had was against, Sudan, South Sudan, but they played their hearts out. Shout out to Luol Deng too and the whole South Sudan basketball organization. They're doing an amazing job. I know they just got their first win. That is big for the homeland. Obviously, as you guys know, I'm Ugandan, so obviously I'm trying to pull for my guys to put some things together. But it's definitely cool to see someone from the continent of Africa actually make some history. So shout out to Luol Deng, shout out to the whole crew, South Sudan. They definitely got the USA's respect during the showcase. We only beat them by 1 point. But back to Tatum, I just don't understand how we just can't find time for a guy that can play numerous positions. This is a guy that you can You can have him bring the ball up. You can have him spot up. The advanced metrics will tell you like Tatum's not a top percent catch and shoot 3 point guy. But if he's open in the corner, if he's open on the wing, like you still have to account for that. That's still a guy that's 6'9", 6'10", that can shoot over a good amount of guys in the world, let alone the NBA. And I just think that phasing him out was kind of embarrassing for a guy that's fresh off a ring, a guy that you know he's the biggest reason why the Celtics got to where they got to. And Jaylen Brown got Finals MVP, Eastern Conference MVP. Don't get me wrong, he earned it. But Tatum, to this point, like a lot of the reasons why the Celtics are effective on both sides of the floor is because of Jayson Tatum, because of the attention he garners and draws. And I felt bad because watching his two teammates, Drew Holiday, who was also on the 2020 team, a very big piece of that team that took home gold. Drew and Derek White, outstanding players, but it's tough. Starting Drew, that makes sense, but Derek White played 16 minutes in that game versus Serbia, and it just rubbed me the wrong way because this is a franchise player. You know what I mean? What message are you sending, Steve Kerr? I mean, if we look back at, for example, the 2012 team, if I remember correctly, the only like superstars on that team we'd probably say is LeBron, Kobe. I'd say Durant was a superstar at that point. He already had a scoring champion. He had already made a finals. He was already a consensus first team All NBA guy. So similar to Tatum, he was already there. He didn't get the ring yet, but he had already made a finals, made a couple playoff runs. His time was coming. KD was never phased out the second he got to Team USA. As soon as he got to Team USA in 2012, he hit the ground running. I'm pretty sure Durant started too. Now, I can't really compare that team to this team because there's just so much talent on this team. And that 2012 team is also a very understated, talented, all-time USA team. I know a lot of people talk about the Redeem team in 08 and obviously the Dream team in 92. But, no, the 2012 team was pretty lethal. I mean, we had Russ and Harden off the bench, 2 MVPs, Tyson Chandler, Andre Iguodala, who got a Finals MVP a couple years later for the Warriors. He was playing that Swiss Army knife role. You got Durant, Williams, CP3, just 2 peak floor raisers and playmakers during that period of time. That team was really, really good. Now, this team, like, there's KD, there's LeBron, there's Steph. This is the last dance. I get it. I'm with the theme. But I'm not buying the excuse that, you're playing guys like, okay, Booker played 26 minutes against Serbia. I'm pretty sure Ant played 19. Derek White played 16. I understand the game was probably, you could say the game was over by, I guess, the midway point of the fourth. I mean, the team, it was a double-digit lead. You had a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. That's really when I thought, at least by some point, we'd get some Tatum minutes. And the reason why it's a yellow flag to me is that Kerr stated that he had spoke to Tatum before that there's a possibility you're not going to see any, run today. I'm not saying he's played amazing at Team USA. I know he hasn't shot the ball terribly. I would really say he hasn't shot the ball well from the perimeter, but he's still been an effective rebounder, passer. I'm pretty sure the second exhibition game, he led the team in assists with 5. So I just don't really buy the fact that he doesn't fit the lineups that you were putting out there that made sense. I mean, I don't know. I have him jotted down before KD returned. I jotted down hypothetically the most effective lineups that I'd like to see Team USA use, and a lot of them have Tatum in there. Like, just listen to the possible USA lineups and tell me if they make sense. You know what I mean? So we have Drew Holiday, Jayson Tatum, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James. I think that sounds like a pretty effective 5-man unit. Another lineup, I have Steph Curry, Drew Holiday, Jayson Tatum, Bam Adebayo, LeBron James, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Jayson Tatum, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis. So I don't know. I just feel like he has to be in that group of players that matter. And, Kerr played 10 guys in the first quarter. You're trying to tell me that Tatum is not one of the first 10 guys. I don't know. I just think it's a little odd to me. I don't know. It's just a little odd. So I know Kerr said he's gonna play him next game, but we don't want pity Tatum minutes. Like, if you think he can be an impactful, valuable guy for Team USA, then play him. But clearly, you don't. I mean, the game against Serbia, I'm pretty sure it was like a single-digit game at half. Tatum didn't see anything. So clearly, even when the game was competitive, you still didn't think that you wanted to throw him out there, see if he could help you out. And Durant, in my opinion, is the greatest USA Olympic American to ever play. All-time leader in points, rebounds, assists. He's up there like top three as well. Going for his fourth gold. And I'll get to Durant in a little bit. I was all for Durant coming and getting his minutes and getting his shots up. I was all for that because I do think that for them to win gold, he has to be arguably their best player, if not their best player. And I know LeBron's been playing amazing, but Durant is just that, Durant is just that video game piece that just takes it to the next level because he has all these great players around him. He can attack you one-on-one. Like, he's just a mismatch. He's literally just a video game when it comes to the Olympics. So I was just disappointed that we didn't get any Durant, Bron, Tatum minutes. Those are three of the best premier wings in the league. Tatum has already defeated Durant in a playoff series. Anytime Tatum, goes up against LeBron, it's a great game. It's a great matchup. I just don't know. I was really disappointed. I know Tatum didn't play, but the main reason why I was disappointed Tatum didn't play is because I didn't get to see any Tatum, KD, LeBron minutes. Those are three wings that can handle the ball for you. They can initiate, they can shoot, they can pass, they can rebound. You can put them at the small ball five. There's just so many things you can do with those guys. And I'm sure we're going to see it later on in the Olympics, but I just feel like first game that KD's back, why wouldn't you want to get that camaraderie with Tatum and LeBron already? And Tatum and KD have already played together. Like I just mentioned, in 2020, those were the top two leading scorers. So a bit alarming that Tatum didn't play. Not really happy about it. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I'm a Celtics fan. But, you gotta figure out how to play those guys. Like, he is a superstar. You just have to figure out how to play those guys. And if you're the USA head coach, that's what you signed up for. You definitely knew that, listen, we're going to take 12 to 15 talented guys in the whole entire world, and we're going to have to figure out how to balance them. And not playing Tatum any minutes just showed me, and keep in mind, they won. You know what I mean? The theme and the tone of my voice, it sounds like they lost. I get it, Pretty sure USA was down when Durant checked in, and once he checked in, they just hit the ground running. But it's just alarming to me that, like, you got this guy in Tatum. Why wouldn't you want to utilize that? Like, what really is it? I want to know what part of his game doesn't fit what you're already rolling out with these athletes and wings. You got guys like Booker and KD and LeBron, and like, these are great athletes. These are guys who can play different roles and do different things. I mean, we're seeing with Devin Booker, he's leading Team USA in plus minus. I know plus minus can be a little funny to actually assess, but when you watch the games, you can tell, okay, it makes sense. We all know Devin Booker to be, he's grown to be this elite combo guard. We've seen him play a good amount of point guard the past couple of years, but he's a pure shooting guard. He can play off ball. There's been a lot of discourse about the Tatum stuff, that why is Booker getting minutes, but Booker's playing amazing. He's shooting the ball well. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. He's still effective even when he does get the ball because he can still create his own shot. Not that Tatum can't, but he's just already used to being that off-ball, assassin. And like I said, he's playing amazing defense. So, I don't know. I just feel like you got to get Tatum in with those guys. And, I'm sure we're going to see it the next game against South Sudan. Because like South Sudan is just filled with wings and all these physical athletes. But Joel Embiid played 11 minutes in the game against Serbia. He was phased out real quick for Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo. I've been saying, you can ask whoever I speak basketball to, I've been saying for like 2 weeks now, and it's not like a hot take or whatever, but Joel Embiid shouldn't be playing over Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is just the better FIBA guy, and he just fits this team well. I find it odd that Embiid is still starting. I don't know if Embiid's going to continue to start. He was the only USA player with a negative plus minus. I just don't know. I'm trying to configure the best lineups that would get the best out of Embiid. But when you think about the starting lineup, Steph and Drew, those are two playmakers. You got Steph, the all-time, scoring machine, and then Drew Holiday, a two-way guy who very selfless, can get you easy looks to, and then you have LeBron, arguably the greatest playmaker the league has seen, and you have Devin Booker, who's also a pretty formidable playmaker. You would think those guys would get Embiid good looks. Now Embiid has been, good at the rim. He's been, holding it down in the paint, and with the FIBA rules being able to camp down, I guess I can see why Steve Kerr may lean to Embiid because Embiid can kind of cheat a little bit, can prevent guys from getting to the rim, obviously block shots, protecting all that stuff. But it's not hard to see that Anthony Davis is clearly the better fit in the starting lineup at the big man position. With that being said, I don't hate that Kerr hasn't fully went away from Embiid just because Bam and AD have this. They've been on this hot streak off the bench. When those two check in, they're just off the charts. I'm pretty sure they're second. Bam and AD after Booker, they're second and third in plus minus for the team up to this point through 6 games. So it's something I'm keeping an eye out on. I would just love to see Tatum out there with Bam and AD. You think about all the length and the rebounding capabilities and the athleticism. Bam, AD, and Tatum. You got to pick your poison. Who you isolating? You're switching all of those. You're switching all those matchups, all those picks. There's not really a guy you can try and pick on. I mean, Steph got a couple possessions where teams try to target him, but there's only going to be so much of that you can do at this level, especially when you're allowed to camp in the lane. So, I don't know. I'd like to see more Bam AD minutes. I would take a little bit away from Embiid. One component of Team USA that we just haven't seen with Steph Curry, and I'll point to a particular play. There's a particular play in the second half where Steph basically was cutting. He was cutting baseline, and I think I forget who was setting the pin down screen, but that was Drew Holiday. LeBron had the ball at the top of the key. Steph Curry's on the baseline. He's just doing his historical, running around the screen, pin down screen, looking for an open shot on the perimeter. LeBron reads it beautifully, and both Curry's defender and Drew Holiday's defender, both jumped at Curry. And before you know it, Drew Holiday dove right into the rim. He was alone, easy layup. That is a component of Team USA that we've never seen. Obviously, this is Steph's first Olympics. Not his first FIBA play. I'm pretty sure he played in the 2014 World Cup. And I think they got gold there with Harden, Kyrie, D Rose, and all that. But this is his first Olympics. That is a component that we've never seen before. And we're going to get a Steph Curry game. There's going to be a game in this Olympics where he goes 6 for 6. And they're not going to have an answer for him. The Steph Curry game is going to come. That component, pairing him with LeBron and KD, that offense is just unstoppable. It's unstoppable. It's almost so unstoppable that I feel like it doesn't even matter what other two guys you roll out with them. If you have a KD, LeBron, Steph lineup, you could do so many things. You could go Bam and AD. You could throw Tatum and Ant and, have, Bron and KD play, small ball, take turns playing small ball 5. There's just so many things you could do when you have those 3 guys playing at this level. Shout out to KD too. I wasn't shocked that he played well. I expected him to play well, but I did not expect KD to come in 21 points. I think he ended the game with 5 threes, 5 for 5 from, deep. He missed 1 shot. I think he took 9 total, missed 1. He was insane. And to me, he's really Captain America. All-time USA leading scorer. He's going for an all-time 4th gold medal. He's just Mr. USA. Mr. USA for sure. I know LeBron has been amazing, and you can't even say enough about LeBron. The KD LeBron thing, I've been saying it for years, this is literally the 2 best players of our era. We cannot take them for granted. So when they pair up at Team USA, and this is the first time they're together at Team USA, I believe since 2012. But when you see those guys playing together, you learn to really cherish this shit. It's a beautiful thing to see, and Obviously, they had that beautiful picture they took with Steph. Basically, kind of like the reimagined version of the Magic, MJ, and Larry Bird picture they took in '92 at the Dream Team Olympics. It's been beautiful to see. Team USA, I have high expectations. Obviously, my expectation is gold. I expect them to I expect them to clobber everyone. I'm not gonna lie to you. I expect them to beat the hell out of everyone. I feel like that's just how much talent we have on the team. You think about the coaching staff. You got Steve Kerr, champion; Tyronn Lue, champion; Spoelstra, champion. You got Mark Few from Gonzaga. Um, and by the way, I actually didn't know that Durant and Harrison Barnes are the athletic directors for Team USA. I did not know that you can literally be a player director or an athletic director for the team while being on the team. Like KD is the sole athletic director at Team USA that is actually playing for the team. Everyone else is just player personnel. So that was something I saw in the boardroom IG post a couple of days ago. So I thought that was really cool too. That you're basically getting a bag and you're hooping. Like that's really cool. It's been Team USA has been it's been fun to watch. Anthony Edwards has been playing fantastic too off the bench, basically playing that D Wade 6-man role from the Redeem team in 2008. I think he's doing an outstanding job on both sides of the floor. He's being aggressive, playing attack defender, shooting the three ball, getting to the rim. He's amazing. And he's 22 years old. That play that he had a play where I think somebody gave it to him in the post, and he had this like crazy spin cycle on a Serbian defender, and it was so I can't even describe it. He had him on the block, and he broke him down, and then he spun like he spun. The defender didn't bite, and I think he spun again. Defender bit, and then he took like this step through off one leg, right-handed floater. It was beautiful. It was probably the play of the game. Honestly, it was either that or the KD turnaround right before halftime from LeBron. That was also really cool. So yeah, man, I have high expectations for Team USA. You got South Sudan next. Um, in terms of fixing the Tatum minutes conundrum, I understand there's gonna be a guy that doesn't play, but like I said, you had Derek playing 16, Booker played 19, Ant played no, I think Booker played 26, Ant played 19. If you take like a couple of those minutes from those guys, give that to Tatum, and then maybe take a couple from Embiid, you can carve out 10 to 12 minutes for Tatum. Like, I feel like he's earned that at this point. Like, I don't know. It didn't sit right with me. And I can only imagine as a competitor, from his standpoint, like franchise player in Boston, we're already dealing with all the Jaylen Brown stuff that I decided not to get into because we've kind of turned the page on that. But I still think that was pretty disappointing that he didn't get an opportunity to even play for Team USA. I do believe it's Nike politics. Kyrie Irving is a good friend of his. He backed up Kyrie when it came to Nike. These big corporations, they're not just going to slap you on the wrist. They're going to punish you. So I think that was just Jalen's punishment. He's been covering his Nike sneakers, or covering the swoosh emblem and logo on his Nike kicks for, I think, a little bit over a year now. Obviously, Nike's not going to like that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So when you put on the Nike hat and the Jaylen Brown hat, you can see a point of view and you can understand the logic from both sides. I mean, Nike and Team USA, they've been locked in for years. Even with the Kyrie Irving thing, I mean, Kyrie didn't even get a chance to even be on Team USA, and a lot of the guys that he he's grown up playing with, it's not like he's lacking talent. He's played Curry in the finals numerous times. He's played with LeBron. He's played with KD. He already has a gold medal from the 2016 team. It, in my opinion, would have been a little bit more cool if like that spot, Kawhi going home, if they had given that to either Kyrie or Jalen. So it's sad, but it is what it is. That's just Team USA. There's too many talented guys. It's hard to pick. As long as you kind of get a crack at one gold, it is what it is. You get that gold, and you kind of look to the next. So.